Welcome to another episode of the HeartSlayers podcast. You are here with the HeartSlayers. I am Derrick Acosta.
How are you?
The guru of love.
Oh.
The number one love guru on the internet.
I thought that was Mike Myers.
He's the love guru. I am the guru of love.
Oh,
okay. Very close, but I can see how you get confused.
Okay.
But they are actually different.
And,
I am here with
Meg Turner.
And what is your official title?
Mike Myers.
So, the number two guru of love, I'm going to say it.
Meg Myers.
Wow. Some weird relationship.
Sorry.
I shipped that right there.
No.
Maybe a little marriage in the works.
No.
All right, we're going to talk about Meg's relationship with Mike Myers.
No.
That hasn't happened yet. No, today we're going to be helping everybody out there with your relationships, taking emails, taking phone calls, solving everybody's problems. So, without any further ado, let's get to it. Okay, everybody, welcome back. We're here with Scratchman. We've spoken to Scratchman a couple of times on this show before. What's up, Scratchman?
Not much. Not much.
So, just to remind the viewers at home, give us a little recap on your situation and the last couple of calls you've had with us.
Sure. So I think the first call I made to you guys was towards the first few episodes.
Mm-hmm.
That was just me asking you guys hey, how do I get back in touch with old friends? How do I kind of because I had moved back to a place that I'd previously lived and I had been out of touch with a lot of people. So I'm how do I get back in touch with them?
Right.
So you guys gave me some good advice on that.
Nice.
And I've made great strides in that respect.
Okay, cool.
The second call I made was about a very, very weird story about a friend of mine, a girl, who had dated my previous ex-best friend, broke up with him, started dating another friend of mine, he broke up with her, and then I started hanging out with her. Well, I'd been hanging out with her prior. God damn it, I got a phone call. Decline. So I started hanging out with her, and my question to you guys was, hey, I'm kind of noticing something. Should I go for it? And you guys were like, no.
That's right. So she was kind of hopscotching around your friends group, and you were next in line. We said,
No.
Get out of the way. How did that end up working out? Can you give us any update on that scenario?
It worked out great. Her and I have been friends for, I would say, I think the call I made, it was back in December. We've been fine ever since then. Nothing weird between the two of us. It's all just been me and her kind of looking at everything hey, this situation sucks, right? Or hey, this situation rocks, right? Yeah. So
Did you go on any dates?
No.
Okay.
We just hang out as friends. We'll go to the bookstore. We'll go and surf through books. We'll go to a breakfast place, just shit talk about our jobs and just recent stuff and relationships and stuff like that. But yeah.
Nice.
Okay, sounds like a good friendship. So what's your call today about?
Okay, so it's kind of about the same girl, and I wanted to start off by asking my question first, kind of going into details a little bit as to why I came to this question and why I'm here, and then kind of repeat the question afterwards. So my question is, how do I allow myself to be a person someone that people can vent their frustrations to without inadvertently supporting self-deprecating outlooks on themselves and or really toxic habits and stuff like that?
Okay.
Kind of a lot to take in, I know. So the reason I want to ask this question today is because this girl had recently celebrated her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to a bar, saw a concert. It was me and about 10 of her other friends. We all went to a bar, saw a concert. She was having a great time and all that stuff. But then her ex-boyfriend walks in. This is the second guy in that story of my ex-best friend, her friend, blah, blah, blah.
Second guy, in between guy.
Yeah, second guy. So he walks in and she starts having a panic attack. Reason being, he dumped her a year ago and it's been not a good year for her at all. And she's kind of in this position where she's not entirely sure if she's over him or not. And just anytime he's in the picture around her, things get really bad. So she, he arrives, she starts drinking like fucking crazy. She gets like shit faced. She starts like, getting really nasty with a lot of our friends. She definitely gets nasty with him anytime he tries to come up and say like, hey, like she like physically shoves him. She's like tells him like, get the F away from me, don't talk to me, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
She just
Wow.
kind of changes, right?
Sounds
Night
dramatic.
goes on. Yeah. Night goes on. Around 2:00 after all this, we decided, okay, time to take her home. A, because the bars are closing. B, because she's gotten like really bad.
Uh-huh.
So I took her home. And then the next morning I kind of caught up with her and I'm like, hey, do you remember anything? Do you remember anything that you did? She's like, no, but apparently she'd been getting calls and texts from everybody that we'd been hanging out with the night before that pretty much like they all gave her a piece of her mind the morning after via text or phone call or something like that. And she was in an extremely negative place that morning. So I went over to her place and it was pretty much her kind of talking for about 2 to 3 hours. And she was saying like a lot of extremely negative stuff. Like, I don't want to go too into it, but it was just like stuff that I couldn't believe I was really hearing. And I really didn't know what to say to. So I just kind of like sat there and I'm like listening. Some of the stuff I'm like, man, I really want to say something about this because it's just this, like, her kind of method of coping was like not, and yeah. So that's basically the situation.
So that's your question. How do you deal with somebody who is very negative and very toxic in their self-depreciation, right?
Yeah, I wanna like be there so that like if they're having like a shit time, they can talk to me. But it's like I don't want to let them sit there and kind of talk to me and also come to the conclusion of, hey, I'm doing something kind of shitty, I'm gonna keep doing that type. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay. Is that the conclusion she came to at the end of the talk?
That's the weird thing. It's like there was really no conclusion that was come to. We ended that conversation and she's like, okay, I guess everybody fucking hates me now. I just want to be alone right now. And I'm like sitting there thinking like, I don't think you should be alone. Not okay. So.
Oh man.
But yeah. So hence why I'm here.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna let Meg handle this one.
Okay,
go ahead.
wow.
Hit him with your advice, Meg.
Oh fuck. Really?
No. Okay, so all right, I'm just kidding. You know what I think about this situation is, so sometimes I feel like people get so wrapped up in their own drama that they kind of forget that they have a voice in this world that is kind of bouncing off other people and making waves.
Yeah.
So I feel like in this situation, especially when you get dumped by somebody, you kind of get wrapped up in your own shit so much that you start to forget that the people around you are actual humans as well.
Yeah.
And they have their own problems.
Right.
And they have their own drama and they have their own shit. And you don't realize, you're so wrapped up in the way you're feeling, you don't realize the way you're making them feel.
Exactly. I feel like it's also kind of an immaturity thing. Because I used to be like that when I was in my early 20s. I'd like get in a fight with somebody. Oh, okay, well, they fucking hate me.
Yeah, and you're only thinking about kind of yourself and the whole situation through your own point of view.
Exactly.
And perspective.
Yeah.
I've definitely been in that situation, and I feel like it's important sometimes to, when you see your friends going down that path where they're just going to be unloading a bunch of emotional baggage and it's not really going to do any good, it's just going to kind of go around in circles, and you see them falling into this downward spiral, I think it's important to stop them right there and basically be like, whoa, slow down, look, because a lot of times too, I feel like all those bad emotions come from this feeling of like, nobody's listening to me.
Yeah.
Like nobody really understands what I'm going through. And you need to kind of let them know, like, hey, I am listening to you and I do understand what you're going through. And you need to realize that you have an effect on me as well. And you have an effect on all of these people in your life.
Yeah.
And the way you feel and act actually affects the way that I feel and act. And if you're going to be so upset about this, it's going to start upsetting me. Or you
Yeah.
say like, honestly, it already is upsetting me. So I think once you kind of shine a light on that statement, you could focus more on like, so what can we do to be constructive
Right.
to,
How do we work through this?
yeah, make ourselves feel better? Because ultimately, nobody wants to be upset. Everybody
Right.
wants to get to a point where they're feeling really good. Sometimes they kind of forget that that's the end goal. So I think the quickest way to remedy the situation is to remind them like, hey, let's start working towards feeling better. And that starts with realizing that all of this negativity is not healthy. It's not helping your situation, and it's not helping my situation.
Right. And it's shitty too that everybody that was there for her birthday, like, gave them a piece of their mind the next morning, like, hey,
Yeah,
this was shitty.
What a birthday gift.
And so obviously somebody's going to feel bad because of that.
Yeah.
And so you just tell her, like, hey, everybody has their own opinion. It's probably not as bad as you're making it out to be because you don't remember it.
Yeah.
And so just, they're probably telling her that because they care about her. And hey, heads up, this was shitty. Maybe try not to do it again.
But also, too, I think that that's a wake-up call and a reaffirmation that the things you feel matter to the people who are close to you.
Exactly.
And if you're going to feel so upset and if you're going to feel so negative, that's actually going to have an effect on everybody around you where they're going to start mirroring the same emotions that you have. Like all of your negativity is spreading out into all of this other negativity. Clearly that you could see that your friends are reflecting back on you. So,
oh, yeah. And that's why it's a toxic friendship.
yeah, so you really need to turn it around when you start going down that hole. But all right, now sometimes you meet a person who is only happy when they're miserable.
Yep.
And I've had a couple of friends like that too, where I.
Oh, no.
What, you're raising your hand? Is that you or is that your friend?
I used to be like that. That's
Oh.
sorry. I don't mean to. I don't.
No, that's fine. I think a lot of people go through phases where they feel like their life is not important unless it's a struggle, or it's not meaningful unless it's hard.
Yeah.
You know, and life doesn't have to be that way, but some people never get that. And I've had friends who they get into these shitty situations that they put themselves into, and you try to talk some sense into them and they just won't hear it. Just, no, man, you don't get it. It's like, I get it. You know, your life sucks. Let's figure out some ways, even small ways, to make it better. Pfft, small ways isn't gonna help me, bro.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna help me. And honestly, I had to cut those people out of my life because there are certain people that they need to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah.
And there's nothing an outsider can really show them that is going to change them. It's something that they need to discover on their own. Like,
Exactly.
wow, I'm really in a dark place. And sometimes putting up with that bullshit, you know, makes you an enabler. It makes them think like, no matter how negative I am and no matter how much I push and kick and hurt the people around me, they won't abandon me. I have this person, you know, so
Yeah.
it's okay to keep acting the way I'm acting.
Right.
And only when you let them know, like, you're not going to tolerate it, then they kind of realize,
They
like,
turn
oh,
around pretty quickly.
yeah, I can't act like this anymore.
Yeah.
So,
In the case of your friend, I do honestly think it's just immaturity because, and she had a bad night.
yeah.
It happens.
Everybody has bad nights.
It happens.
You see your ex, you're drunk already.
Yeah.
It gets worse from there.
Yeah. And so I think like just being there and supporting her is
Yeah.
important.
But I think the key elements here are to raise her awareness that, you know, the way she feels affects her environment.
Yeah.
And if she's going to be wrapped up in so much negativity, that's not going to make things better.
Yeah.
You know, she really needs to just try to, you know, get to a good spot mentally, and then she will see that other people are responding the same way.
Yeah, because if she's saying like, oh, like, I guess everybody fucking hates me, like, it's totally fine to be like, hey, that's not true.
Yeah. But if she's refusing to hear that, if she's just enjoying the negativity, then you need to step away and be like, I can't deal with this.
Yeah.
I can't experience this because it's going to affect me. It's going to bring me down.
Yeah.
So, like, I think you need to, you know, she said she needed to be on her own. Maybe she does. I don't know kind of how dark it was on that day, but sometimes self-reflection is the best thing.
So, great advice.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that. Okay. Couple things. You mentioned the whole constructive, thinking constructively on how to like kind of mend like her state of mind and something like that. The word constructive is what kind of stuck out to me, because she was talking all that morning after, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't think she should be hanging out with these people anymore. That was like the one thing that stuck out in my head that entire time. I'm like, if she could do anything, she could stop hanging out with these fucking people that she goes to this bar with, because I don't feel like they give enough of a shit about her. I feel like a lot of her frustration stems from the fact that she probably feels the same way, and I'm like, how do I pitch that to her? Because I really think that would help, because there are so many fucking people at that place that I'm just like, you're a dick. You're like, everything you say is fucking stupid. You try to fill my mind, and you try to fill her mind with all this dumbass shit. I'm talking to somebody over there. And I'm just like, she could do without all that shit. I know I could sure as shit do without all those people, because I go there and I don't give a fuck about half of them most of the time. Anyway, that's me ranting.
It's easy to just say like, hey, they said this and this, that's not what a friend says. And so obviously you could always just say like, that's why you're so upset.
Yeah.
And just making her realize that.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that you say that, Meg, because one of the things that one of those people texted her the morning after, you're going to hate this, is they said, I think I'm in love with you.
No, that's not what you say.
And I'm just like, oh, of course he fucking said that. Sorry, I'm cussing like a storm right now. But yeah, so he said that, and I'm like, good Lord. Like, I thought about everything that you'd said on an episode prior, and I'm like, I'm telling her the exact same stuff verbatim. I'm like, he can't be dropping that on you during that situation. That's like the worst effing time in the world to be saying that stuff.
Yeah.
You should not be hanging out with him.
It's just manipulative.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think kind of getting her to realize that will absolutely help.
Yeah, and I think that, this is a situation where maybe you can lead by example, and you cut those people off and you don't really engage with those people, and maybe she'll see that you are so much better off not spending time with people like that, and she'll think to herself like, maybe I don't need to spend time with people like that either.
Okay.
So
that's a great idea. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks for your call, Scratch Man. We really appreciate the update, and hope it all works out. Looking forward to, the next update in the Scratch Man saga. Cool, man. We'll catch you later.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, HeartSlayers. I was hoping you guys could help me out here. I had a quick question. I went on a date a few days ago, and someone who I met online, really friendly girl. I'm kind of new to where I'm living out here in Atlanta, and she kind of took me to a really nice restaurant, in kind of a hipster kind of area, of Atlanta, which I didn't think they'd actually have, but good times, cool sandwich joint. And, there was a lot of good back and forth between us. And oddly enough, lunch went on for quite a while. And then afterwards I asked her, just to kind of, prolong things. Hey, maybe we should just go for a walk. Now I'll admit it was kind of chilly out, which in retrospect wasn't a good idea. But, we went for a walk. We kind of fleshed things out and talked about, each other, work, life, things like that. And it kind of wrapped up in a sort of abrupt way after we took like a nice, 20, 30-minute walk. Unfortunately, I didn't get a call back from her or a text. But she did say, though, after the date that she wanted to, hang out again. She seemed kind of enthusiastic. So my thing is, when you're on a date, the first or the second, is it good to kind of keep yourself limited to what you're there to have lunch, and then kind of end it, move on? I'm just nervous that I kind of gave too much away all at once. So have you guys had any experience with that, like dealing with too much talkers, or what's your thoughts on that?
So just to clarify, you feel like you gave too much away all at once. What does that mean? You think you scared her off by getting too personal or too into your history, or?
Well, it's kind of one of those things. I'm a very, open guy. I'm, very upbeat. And she seemed pretty, reserved. And I think I just translated that as maybe she was nervous. So I'm kind of like you, Derrick, in a sense, where I like to just break the ice, go out on, out of left field, just say some funny stuff. And I'm not sure really if I was, just talking, like the conversation was like 70% me, 30% her, or what. So that's what I mean by kind of, putting it out there.
Okay. Well, I feel like it's hard to get to know the real person on a first date or a second date.
Yeah.
People have kind of the side of themselves that they present to strangers, their first impression facade, and then there's the real them, the stuff that you have to get to know them for a while before they reveal themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So, maybe you're just getting to know each other still, and yeah, I don't know. I don't think you need to worry about that too much if you're on a first date.
That's what I was gonna say. It could have just been like, maybe it just wasn't a match for her. And maybe that's why you didn't hear back, or
maybe she's nervous. Maybe she likes you so much
That's true.
that she's afraid that she's not good enough for you or something.
Yeah, did you message her after?
You know what? Yeah, I messaged her, and because my work hours were kind of odd, but we did kind of figure out this 2-day window every week where we could hang out. And when the time came around and I texted her, I kind of got kind of a suspicious reply like, "Oh, hey, my girlfriend's having her birthday on Wednesday, blah blah blah. Well, I'm not sure if I'll be free that afternoon." And I kind of talked it over with a buddy of mine. He's like, "Dude, if she wants to, she'll figure out a way to make it happen." But at the same, he kind of, I had a little bit of doubt in my mind, like, okay, maybe she's trying to put me down nicely. So that's kind of what I got.
That's fair.
Yeah. You know what? I would try to take the pressure off the situation, but don't give up on her. So I would, give her a week where you don't really hit her up or talk to her. Let her miss you a little bit. Let her start thinking like, yo, what's up with that guy? I thought maybe he would hit me up. Where was he? And then the next weekend, you swoop in with the text. That'll be a good gauge because you've given her some time to kind of worry about you a little bit. Maybe she wonders if you really like her or not. And then you come back.
Yeah.
She'll either be highly receptive and happy to hear from you again, or
there's your answer.
or it'd be like, oh, this guy again.
Yeah, she'll either respond or she won't.
Yeah, and then at that point you'll know. But I don't think you need to worry. I wouldn't worry about talking too much on a first date because you're putting yourself out there and you're getting to know somebody and you're both deciding if you're clicking with the other person. So some people like to talk more, some people like to listen more, and that actually can be a really compatible relationship. One person does the talking, one person does the listening.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold back just for fear's sake.
Yeah. The only thing I would warn against, and this is from personal experience, because you mentioned something, you said, Derrick, I'm like you. I like to say stupid random shit to break the ice. I actually don't do that in real life. That is like a on-podcast Mega 64 thing. And what I've learned in going on dates is to not try too hard to be funny. So every time I would say some wacky shit, I'd be like, in my mind thinking like, yo, she's going to think I'm so funny. This is going to kill her. And then I say it and she's like, and I'm like, oh shit. That's not even the real me. Like I'm trying to think of stuff to say that's funny. And it just blows up in my face. So
just be yourself.
I try to be myself. I don't try to be funny. If any funny thoughts come to me, I'll say them. But if I ever have a thought like, ooh, what's something funny I should say here?
Yeah.
I've built up the mechanism in my mind to go, nope, red flag, stop, have a sincere thought, don't try to make a joke here. I let the humor come out naturally.
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually some pretty good advice. Yeah, all right. Well, thank you both so much. I appreciate the good feedback. I'll roll with it, and hopefully we'll make something happen down the road. Thank you.
All right, everybody, we're back here with Adrian. Adrian actually has called us before, back in December. How's it going, Adrian?
It's going all right,
Good to hear it. You're here with Derrick and Meg, the HeartSlayers. Give everybody at home a recap on the situation if you can.
So, for people at home, I called back in December, and my issue, I guess in the fastest way possible, was I have a friend that would go over to his apartment, and he had a roommate, and his roommate had a girlfriend, right? And the girlfriend and the roommate split up. I didn't know the roommate all that well, and I didn't know the girl all that well, but I got to know her briefly through little interactions here and there when I would go to visit my buddy. And when they broke up, it was like a clean break. I knew they weren't getting back together. There was like no chance at all. They hate each other. They're done with each other. I gave it about like I don't know, like about a month and a half of time to see maybe they would get back together. They didn't, and I decided to I don't know, try things out with this girl because I did. I really liked her. I liked her a lot.
Okay.
So that's kind of like where we left off was essentially like I called in to see what should I do in this situation.
Now, if I'm correct, if I remember correctly, you were working on a piece of art to give to this girl as a gift?
Yeah. I finished that shit. And, okay, so spoiler, basically, it didn't go well. I actually, like, it gets
it never
spoiled.
does. It seems like it never does in these situations.
It never seems like it. But like my plan was, okay, I'm gonna ask this girl out. Like I was texting back and forth with her for like a good while.
Okay.
And it was going well. I would get fast responses and all that. And but it started to like take too long. And I knew like she's very good looking and she does cool shit. So it's gonna be like a matter of time before someone else asks her out. Uh-oh, phone calls. It's all good. So out of nowhere, like I just kind of got like a brick wall of silence from her. Actually, hold on. You were asking about the artwork thing. Let me get back to that part before I skip ahead.
Okay.
So yeah, I wanted to basically ask her out with. I was making her like gingerbread cookies, weed brownies, and a silk screen. And
nice. Wow.
Originally, it was just going to be like a drawing. The reason behind the artwork was when it was just like a platonic friendship kind of thing between us. Mm-hmm. We had planned for Christmas to like make each other gifts, like me, my friend, the roommate, and this girl. Like everyone's gonna make each other gifts. So I thought, all right, I'm gonna make like a nice drawing, just like a simple drawing. But once I figured out I'm gonna try to make like a bit of a move on this girl, like try to ask her out, I thought I needed to step up my game. And they made a drawing. Actually, I can grab it. It's right over there.
Yeah, let's see it. I want to see the token of romance that was presented at Christmas time.
Oh, 1 second.
This was the piece of art that was going to transition him from a friend to something more. This was all of his romantic feelings embodied into a single item that you could hold. She could look at it and she could just feel the love emanating from Adrian.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of disappointing that he still has it.
Oh.
Well, I got 10 of these, actually, because they're all silk screens.
Oh, okay. No. Okay, so he has 10. All right.
So when you make silk screens, you can't just make one, because you fuck it up, and that would be good. It's fucking huge, too, so... Oh, man. Let me see it. I'll get this. Yeah, so I made this guy. I'll get it nice and close and all that.
That is amazing.
Wow, yeah. So what's the significance of this piece of art here?
All right, well, jeez.
What are the moths, basically? That's what everybody's wondering. What's the moth thing?
Oh, all right. So moths, I was trying to like, here, I'll put it down. It'll be easier to talk. But basically, I know she was really, well, she still is like really into like symbolism and all that kind of stuff and astrology and everything. And I knew that white moths represented deep thought. And I thought the moths, like letting go of the moths through the hands is kind of like thinking about each other late at night kind of thing. That's kind of like the general idea. It's it's very cheesy, but that's kind of like the whole point, you know? It's it was supposed to be pretty cheesy.
That's cool.
It's kind of romantic. Nice.
Yeah. But the problem is I never got to give it to her. Ever. So
why not?
Basically, she found out that I was trying to ask her out, and I think it kind of like scared her off or something. Before I was able to actually talk to her. I wanted to like say everything in person. I couldn't do this over text. I couldn't do this over phone calls because it's just, I don't know, that wouldn't have felt right. So I was just trying to get like a one-on-one meeting with her, and something happened. I'm not exactly sure what. The jury's still out on that one. But she found out that I was going to ask her out. And she then kind of.
Did you have like a friend tell her?
Well, that's what I'm thinking happened. So earlier I said that I was texting back and forth, and it's kind of got like a hard cutoff of no responses to my text message. I was thinking, I was like, what the fuck's going on? I thought things were going all right. And I was like, maybe like about 4 or 5 days of this. And then I was hanging out with my buddy, the inside man of this that I was trying to like get all this information from.
Yeah.
And he tells me, hey, that girl you're trying to ask out, like my old roommate, she lost her phone, and I have her phone. I was like, oh, that's why she wasn't texting me back. Oh, sweet, okay. And so I thought, like in my head, I was like, because we were hanging out that day, and I thought, okay, so he has her phone on her right now. I know she's working not that far from here, so I figured we'd go boogie on over there, give her a phone, and have like a nice, like, it would have been perfect for me, a golden opportunity to kind of like test the waters, see how things are and all that. But we were hanging out, and as we're like driving, he takes like a turn that like leads me back to my place, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? I thought we were gonna go drop the phone off, and I would be able to like talk to her. He's like, sorry, I can't do that. And I was like, why not? You know what I'm trying to do? Like I've told you all this, you know.
He knows that you like this girl. You got a crush on her. He knows that.
Oh, he knows. I went over this with him like very specifically. Called him about it.
Oh wow.
And
so he's like supposed to be your
knows.
wingman in this situation.
He called himself a wingman. He said, "I'm going to be a great wingman."
Oh,
he was
wow.
he was a kamikaze pilot. He was not a wingman.
Oh no.
No.
He was bad. So he just, I don't know why, but he just said that, no, I can't do it. I was like, it'll only take a second. She doesn't work that far from me. I'm sure she wants her phone. And he just said, no, I can't do it. Looking at his shoes kind of thing. And I was like, all right, well.
So what happened? He dropped you off?
Yeah, just dropped me off. And I said, all right, well, just tell her to give me a text. He just said that. But this is like where the mystery lies of like what he actually said to her, because like the text that I got back from her was, hey, I just met with like I don't want to say the names and all that, but I just met with like your friend, and yeah, I didn't know that you wanted to like be more than friends, yada 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 kind of thing. So
that was her first text back to you after she got her phone?
The first one, yes.
Wow.
So
dang.
I feel like knowing him, I don't think he intentionally tried to do this. I think he's just very bad at being a wingman, and probably said something along the lines of like, oh, Adrian, you know, he really likes you, and he wants, like, to probably like way overplayed whatever he thought he was doing, and kind of sunk the boat on that one, unfortunately. I don't think it was intentional. I have no idea what was said. Never. I asked him afterwards. He couldn't give me a straight answer.
Yikes.
I have no idea.
Oh,
it was
man.
bad. It was just bad. But yeah, I had my wee brownies made. I had my gingerbread cookies made. My print made. That print took forever too.
So basically, kind of coming to the end of it, you never. So since then, you haven't seen her. You never gave her any of these gifts, and that was the last time you talked to her.
That was the last. Well, yeah, it was just kind of like the text messages after that were just kind of like, oh yeah, we'll I still want to meet up kind of thing. Never did.
Oh my gosh.
So
wow.
it just kind of like
shut you down.
Ghosted after that.
Shot a hole in your boat.
Yeah.
And now you're sunk. Well, so what's so where are we at today then?
So the reason I'm calling back today is I know like a lot of people call into the show, I feel like probably will be in a similar situation as I am, where things didn't go so well, you know, and it took me like a little bit to get back on my feet. Like when this, like I can talk about it like all laughing and all like that right now, but like when it happened, it was like depression like I've never felt before. Like it was like, because I thought this was like a sure thing. Like I actually thought she like really liked me, and like
so you felt dumped basically.
Basically, that's what it felt like. It sucked too, because like her answer as to why she wouldn't want to go out with me is she didn't say she didn't like me. She said that she was with a really long-term relationship, like I don't know, like maybe like 6 years, and dating me would be too close to her ex-boyfriend, and she would just kind of like probably be thinking about him the whole time. And I understand that. That makes sense to me. It just sucks that I never got to tell her anything like in detail, like how I felt, and never give her all these things. So like all that kind of like weighed on my mind, and like I was just depressed, couldn't do anything at all. Like I would just like the day that it happened, I would just kind of like sit in a chair and stare at a wall kind of thing, you know. It was just bad.
Oh man.
But well, I mean, so the reason I'm calling is I want to kind of share what I did to help get over it.
Okay.
I just kind of like I tried to talk with friends, you know, and all that. But the thing that helped me the most was I made like a literal list of things that I want to do, and I knew asking this girl out, I was already going to be trying to work out more, so I put that on the list. I wanted to lose 50 pounds. And then I thought of like, what else would I rather do? Like I know I really like to bake a lot. Like I made you guys some pastries at Patsy's.
Nice, yeah,
and
I remember.
I want to work on my baking game, and I've been doing that a lot too. And like I would check that off the list. Everything that like I would write down, and being able to like check it off as something that I was able to do, like it helped me realize that like I'm making progress on kind of like rebuilding myself in a sense, you know? So yeah, like writing down a list of things that you want to do to improve yourself kind of helped me get through it at least.
That's great.
That's a great idea.
Even if it's like I couldn't do like the first thing, embarrassingly enough. I might as well, but like the first thing that I wrote down was like I want to write a list. I want to write a letter to my favorite musician, and I did. I didn't get a response, but like even that, like the small little thing of like writing to like my favorite musician it helped. It really did. Like I'm just checking off that one box on this huge list.
That's
and
great.
Then from there, just did like another one, and now I think I'm like in terms of like weight loss, I'm down about 40 pounds now.
Wow!
Congratulations.
Out. Like, and I'm still making. I'm actually in my studio right now and working on a new print. I'm gonna have an art show next year, so I'm not gonna let that print that I was never able to give to that girl be the last one that I make.
That's great. Hey, so I think you've touched on something awesome here. When you get rejected by a guy or a girl, I say a guy, if you are a girl, or a guy, you know.
Or a guy.
If you get rejected by anybody,
Anything.
it hurts your feelings. It makes you feel like, man, do I suck? You don't think that you suck, but you question if potentially you could suck and you're just unaware of it. So I agree with you that I think the best thing to do to get yourself out of that slump is to just start working on yourself, improving yourself, doing these things, accomplishing things you've always wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Because as you knock them off your list, it makes you feel good about yourself. It makes you feel like, wow, you know.
It doesn't matter how small or stupid you think it is. Like when I wrote a letter to Kate Bush, my favorite musician, and just like that was stupid to me, but being able to check that off and be like,
I actually recommend, you know, honestly, I think that making your goals small and attainable is better than setting these huge goals that are potentially, you know, more likely to fail, and then it makes you feel worse. You know, that kind of goes against the process. So when you said you set a goal to lose 50 pounds, I'm happy that you've almost accomplished it. But for a lot of other people out there, I think that they would set a goal to lose 50 pounds. They don't lose 50 pounds, and then they feel like,
worse.
Yeah, like, shit, I didn't even do that goal. I got dumped, and I didn't lose 50 pounds. Your goal should be to lose 5 pounds, something way more attainable, and then once you do that, it's like, yeah, hell yeah, I did it. Now I'm going to do 5 more, and then over the course, you'll lose 50. But, yeah, I think small goals is really good, working on yourself. Just reminding yourself that you are a fun, cool person, and yeah, that's definitely going to lift you out of the slump.
And like, yeah, this was a shitty situation. There's always going to be more people out there
Yeah.
for you. So
And I think
Yeah,
it's,
and you want to be ready for it.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
if you're still like have the same issues, from before, then it probably won't go as well. So if you keep working on yourself, like you said, like make a goal of like small little things, those little things are going to gradually improve
they
yourself.
all add up. I remember hearing a story once actually about Will Smith.
Oh.
The Fresh Prince. And they were like, man, you were so accomplished. You're a rapper. You've won Grammys. You have a hit television show. You are a hit movie maker. Like, how are you so motivated? And he basically told him, the interviewer, like, yeah, I got dumped by a girl
what?
when I was like
shit.
19. And it hurt my feelings so much that
Whoa.
I wanted to completely leave behind that person that she dumped, and it encouraged me to keep making myself better and better and better. And all these years later, that was all spurred by the same thing you're going through, just rejection. And so he too worked on himself to a point where he became this world famous rich movie star and successful rapper.
Yeah.
So I think it's just cool to remember that we've all been there, whether you are a rich and famous celebrity or, just a guy doing your own thing. Like, that's a very common experience, and a lot of people have gotten through it by just working on themselves, making a little list of goals of things I want to accomplish. And that's a good piece of advice for anybody out there who is going through a similar situation.
Absolutely.
And it didn't happen overnight as well. Like, this is for people that are going through rough times. It's not going to feel good after a week. It's not going to, sometimes not after 2 weeks, but just keep working on tiny little things. Then you can look back at that list and be like, shit, I did do some cool shit.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Now, maybe now that you've done all this cool shit, are you going to try to reach out to this girl again, try to hang out with her, or are you done?
I tried reaching out like a couple times. I got nothing back, so I just I'm gonna let it be. But I think when I have this art show, I gotta sell these things because I don't want them around. Like,
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. Maybe they'll be your best
Maybe
seller.
sell her one.
well, I'll keep her one, but like when I have like an art show next year, like I want to have like around like 12 new prints or something.
Here's
like
my
that.
prediction. I think you're going to meet a new girl either before or at your art show. I don't think you're still going to be pining for this lost love when that art show comes. I don't know. I just have a feeling about it.
You never know. I
never
mean,
know.
I can't keep like that was like the thing that weighed on my mind. Like oh, maybe I'm gonna like run into her or something like that. No, that's not how things work.
Maybe
But,
your art show should be all about this experience. The discovery of feelings for a person, the chase, the loss, and then the recovery.
Yeah.
And then you can
Redemption.
incorporate that piece of art into the show.
Oh, this piece of art's just definitely gonna be in the show. That's probably the next time that I talk to her. In my head is probably gonna be around this time next year. I'll probably shoot her a text and say, hey, I got an art show and the Christmas gift that I was going to give to you. It's going to be in it. If you want to see it, if you want one, come by. No hard feelings. I feel like that's probably going to be the next time I talk to her. But yeah, it sucked a lot. Sucked a lot. But
there is light at the end of the tunnel. That's what you're saying.
A lot better now. Yeah, I could not have made this phone call like the first 2 weeks of it happening. I'm in a completely clear mental state now.
Okay,
Good to
cool.
hear.
Well, yeah, we appreciated that. Thank you for the update, and let us know if there's any other developments.
Yeah.
Like if your friend and that girl start dating, and then you're just like raging. Let us know.
All right, I will. Thanks for the phone call. Take it easy, HeartSlayers.
Okay, everybody, we're gonna do an email now. This one comes from an anonymous viewer who goes by the letter T. And it reads, Dear HeartSlayers, my first and only relationship began when I was 17 with a girl who I felt very strongly about and fought pretty hard to get. In almost 6 years, we've never really bickered, fought, or had any major ups and downs. Our personalities mesh well enough, and they mesh well enough that we've managed to foster a pretty low-maintenance relationship. I really feel like she's my best friend. That said, there are a lot of major personal interests and motivations that we don't have in common. I love socializing, partying, seeing dumb, noisy bands, doing and seeing different things, taking on challenges, etc. She, on the other hand, is mostly a homebody with a low tolerance for anything abrasive or unfamiliar, and as much as I've tried to be understanding of those preferences, I think they've worn on me over time, and have caused me to spend the latter half of the relationship feeling pretty unhappy. This all leads to last night when we had this long heart-to-heart that ended with me telling her I wanted to take a break. I suppose my idea was that I wasn't ready to commit to a lifelong relationship at 22 years old, and that I'd rather meet new people and see different girls and just experience as much as I can whilst I still can without having to worry too much about another person's happiness. Now I'm not so sure what to think. The way I see it, as far as having a stable, loving, and loyal relationship goes, I literally couldn't have found a better partner. The rational side of my brain tells me that those qualities are extremely rare, and it would be idiotic to let them go, to let any of them go. I'm worried that my motivations are fickle, and in another 5 years, when I've got a career and more responsibilities, I'll really regret not holding on to a loyal partner who truly, truly loved me. What do you guys think? Am I letting something special go because I'm having what seems like an early midlife crisis? Sorry if this was too long. I appreciate any response. T. All right. So he's been dating a girl for 6 years, 5 or 6 years, and has just finally realized like maybe he wants to go on a break because she doesn't want to do the same things he wants to do socially.
Okay.
What do you think of all that?
This reminds me a lot of my super long-term relationship.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it does.
What ways? What are the similarities?
So when I was 16, I started dating this guy, and we dated for 10 years.
Okay.
And we had similar interests enough, and then as we got older, we kind of started splitting our interests.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't want to do stuff that I wanted to do, and I would sacrifice a lot for him. And it turned into a lot of petty fighting over nothing.
Okay.
And you start resenting each other, and then eventually you start hating each other.
Wow.
So that was my situation, and we broke up for other reasons, but it all kind of stemmed from that. And we were comfortable in this relationship when it probably should have ended like year 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that happening to a lot of people, especially when you date somebody for so long. Mm-hmm. The things that work become so comfortable that they kind of are a mask over things that don't work.
Absolutely. We were so comfortable that I knew things weren't working, but I was content.
Yeah.
And that contentment turned into resentment.
Yeah, like the problems are just bubbling just under the surface and getting worse and worse.
Oh, yeah. And when you start dating somebody so young, and in this case, 17, so still really young, to have a really long-term relationship, you don't really grow in that relationship.
Yeah. To the person who wrote the question, I totally understand the fear of, I've been dating this person for 6 years and I just told them I don't want to be with them anymore. What the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is really scary.
Yeah.
But I think the flip side of that, staying in that relationship, you risk spending years, even more years with this person, 10 years, down the line, you might find yourself at 32, really ready to break up because now it's like, wow, I spent a whole decade with you. And I missed out on all of these things that I wanted to do because you didn't want to do them, and I was trying to accommodate you.
Yep.
And now I know that I don't want to be with you, but I've lost, my 20s.
So much time.
I've lost my youth, and now I am, I'm just in a different stage in life, and you risk having a lot more regrets.
Yeah.
So I always say, I can't say whether you've made the right choice.
That's all on you.
Or staying together. That's all on you. But I do think you should listen to that little voice in the back of your brain.
Yeah.
You should cultivate listening to that smallest, most quietest voice, because that is usually the voice that is speaking the most rational sense.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's the hardest voice to listen to in your mind. It's just that little tiny whisper that says, maybe this isn't going to work out. Maybe it really does suck that your girlfriend doesn't want to do the things that you want to do. Yeah. And then all these other voices will come in and be like, no, but first of all, she's beautiful.
She's my best
She's
friend.
my best friend. We've been together for so much. Remember high school? Remember going to Jack in the Box in high school? How great that was. But then that little voice will be like, yeah, but we're not going to Jack in the Box anymore, and this isn't high school, and is the relationship working for you right now? And a lot of times you kind of base your relationship on it's worked in the past, and it might work in the future, but is it working right now? Okay, you got to live in the moment. Now is all we have. You're not guaranteed tomorrow or next week, you know, it could be hit by a bus or we can get nuked. You never know what's going to happen. So you got to do what's right for you right now.
Right. And I also feel like if you continue to stay in that state of your relationship and you're feeling that way now, you're going to continue to feel that way no matter what.
Yeah. And two, it's just a break. You know, you don't have to go start sleeping around with 20 other women, though I'm sure you want to, just based on what you said in your message. But you could take it slow. You could just roll the relationship back and be like, hey, let's just spend some time apart. You can even say, like, I'm not going to date anybody else. I just want to, you know, like, just have some alone time and figure myself out. Maybe you spend a month separated or a couple of weeks and you realize, you know what? I don't want to date other people. Now that I've had some time to myself, I really want to go back to the relationship I had. Yeah. And you can go back to that. But I think it's okay to just kind of experiment with new things and figure yourself out. Yeah. You don't need to smash and burn the relationship.
I was going to say that. Like, I think we've said this in the past where you don't have to hate the person you're breaking up with.
Yeah, that's not necessary.
Like, you could remain friends and get back together in the future if that's in the cards for you, but you don't have to completely ruin everything and make them hate you.
Yeah, I think it's okay to take a break, just to take a step back from the relationship and say, like, you know what, we've been together for 6 years. I'm not the same person I was in high school. You're not the same person you were. Let's just, you know,
see what happens.
Figure ourselves out now that we're a little bit older. See if this is something we still want. See if we're still a good match for each other. Just try to freshen it up. So I don't think you should worry about the course of action you've taken right now. Just try not to go crazy and don't do anything irrational. Yeah. Just take it slow and just, you know, go with the flow, feel it out. Yeah. Really appreciate your email. I hope this advice helps. Email us back if there's any updates. Let us know how it all worked out. Good luck.
Good luck.
Okay, everybody, that is our episode for today. I want to give a big thank you to all of our callers and everybody who emailed us, and also a huge thank you to everybody who supports us on Patreon. For just $1, you get to see these episodes 1 week early. We couldn't do this show without you and all the viewers on YouTube. Yeah. Of course, we appreciate our YouTube viewers. I mean, you're the people we do this for. So thank you for watching. Leave a comment, of course, if you have any of your own personal take on any of the issues you saw here today. I know everybody who calls in, they love getting our advice, but all advice is welcome. Oh, yeah. And we read the comments. They read the comments too. So I love seeing everybody's perspective on all of these issues. If you want to follow us in our daily life, or if you want to get any updates about HeartSlayers, you can follow us on Twitter. I am at Gustafo.
And I am at Furnace Woods.
That's right. And we will be taking new calls every other Tuesday at 10 a.m. You can Skype into us at Mega64 Podcast. You can email us at podcast@mega64.com. We would love to take your calls. But if you're not available, feel free to record a little video message and send us a link. Yes. You can upload an unlisted video to YouTube. Send us the link. We'll listen to it. We'll do a little video call.
Yeah.
So until next time, we say thank you to everybody watching, and we will be back to answer more problems in the future. We are the HeartSlayers.
See you later.
See ya.